and welcome to our first Q&A. Well, no, technically it's our second, because me and Matt did one a while, or not me and Matt. Matt's like, what? Me and Mika did one not too long ago about D&D. Well, we have something to talk about later. I'm just kidding. Welcome, everybody, to World D5's second Q&A. I'm really excited about this one. This is going to be our cosplay Q&A. These fantastic people here, I'll have them introduce themselves in a second, but they are my favorite people to watch stream because they are so good at getting into character, especially visually. And I wanted to bring them along to share their tips and tricks, things that they use, and other shenanigans and questions that people have in their process. So I'm gonna take my glasses off so I can barely see you guys, because most of us will be doing cosplay live, whereas Tori is gonna walk through a process of things that she's already done, because look at how cool she looks. I love it. It's so good. So we already have some questions that were submitted, but we'll take a bunch from the chat as well. And we've got a cool, I think it's this way that I'm pointing. We've got a little slideshow that I didn't tell anybody I was doing, that I went to your guys' social medias and found two of my favorite of your cosplays, and they're on a loop, and Tori's wearing one of them. It's so cool. Really? That's awesome. I'm gonna do something. So yeah, I thought these were great, so I stalked you guys' social medias and didn't tell you guys about it. Anyways, I think we should get started with introductions. So as always, I'm Erika Aundawyn. I am here. You think everyone is muted? I don't know. I'm showing everyone's stuff is up.
I can unmute myself and listen to the stream for a second. Oh, we can't hear you, the dreaded fox says.
Can't hear
me?
No. That...
No one else.
You, Erika, but not
besides
us.
Erika. Oh, I hear Tori now.
Everything is showing that it's reading. Okay, I was like, I've been talking for so long.
Okay, I think we're good now.
Okay, I turned yours up a bit, so maybe that's what it was. Anyways, so we're gonna start with introductions. I'm Erika Aundawyn. You can find me here as always, and I'm also a writer of a Women in Gaming series, of which Tori was my very first interviewee for Couch Soup that comes out every couple of months. Content creator for Deadpan Gaming, and we're gonna start with we'll go with what's on the stream. Tori, tell us about yourself.
Hey, my name is Tori. You can find me on Twitter at ToriFika, and I stream with Level 1 Geek, primarily. I mean, I guess I'm trying to guest around more, but Level 1 Geek is my home, is my baby. Em and I and a couple of other fun folks run it over there, and we play lots of tabletop RPGs, which means sometimes we also cosplay as our characters alongside that, which is what I've done tonight. Trying to think if there's anything else. I felt like there was something I was gonna say, but I don't remember. I guess I'll just I will preface my whole thing by saying I am very new to cosplay, and so I can tell you what I've learned along the way, which maybe that will be useful to you, coming from someone who is not an expert but is like figuring it out as they go. Yep. So yeah, that's me.
Wonderful. And next, Matt. We've seen you a few times. I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why. But it's always a blast, always a pleasure. It's great to see all the familiar faces on stream and in the chat. And if you want to find more from me, improv and D&D, YouTube, Twitch, socials, all that jazz. But I'm just excited. I'm excited to share my trials and tribulations of doing makeup for the first time over the last year. So it's been fun.
I love it.
It's been fun.
You look amazing.
Thank you.
And Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily. I am also pretty new to cosplay and makeup. I primarily got into it in order to do more TTRPG characters. I find that it's a really cool way to put yourself in the mindset of a character that you maybe don't play all the time, or it's on stream, and so you don't have the same buffer you would at a table with your friends where you're talking and you can slowly get into character. Once you go live, that's it. You got to be ready. And so it kind of became a method for me to make sure that I was in character, ready to go, ready to play as soon as we were doing this. So I was really happy that Erika invited me to be part of this. So I'm not a professional, but can I tell them a little bit what I'm doing today,
Yes,
Erika?
please start.
Okay.
Please.
Okay, so I'm going to be doing a base makeup look that is easy to swap around, so it's not a huge complicated thing that you have to do to create a defined character look. So we'll do a base makeup and then I'll edit it as I go to show you 3 different character classes.
I'm so thrilled about this. Oh my gosh. And then for me, I'm gonna kind of do my favorite, almost fairy core makeup that I really love doing. And Matt, I think you said that one of the photos I picked was one that you're doing.
Yeah, basically the one with the red hair, except I don't have that wig ready, but I was planning on focusing on that because overall I think that's the one I'm proudest of so far. But we'll see how it goes. This is my first time doing it off of the camera on my screen, so.
Right? I brought my little mirror with me just in case. So I'm
I don't have. I only use my bathroom mirror, so we'll see how this goes.
I love it. So while we're kind of starting to do our base of our makeup and stuff, I'll start asking a bit of questions. So I kind of want Tori to go first as we're kind of prepping our skin a little bit. Tell me about your character as well, because this is so cool. So what's your process?
Thanks.
Products.
Yes. I grabbed as many as I could remember to grab, and I tried to look up the rest of the things that I ordered. So this character that I'm dressed as tonight is Shembra Baymora, the Enlightened one. She is a Fire Genasi warlock. So basically a half fire genie, and she has a pact with a fire genie patron. So she's
cool.
all about the fire.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember back when I was coming up with a character, and I play her on Level 1 Geek's Monday night D&D show, when we play Candlekeep Mysteries that we have kind of come to calling Candle Geek Mysteries. And I play over there with Matt and with Em. So yeah, that's the character. If you ever want to see her in action and not just me dressed as her. But I'm trying to remember if I made the character first or kind of started thinking about the look first. But yeah, this wig was a really big starting point for her, for my vision of her, I should say. And I just, obviously I have headphones and stuff on right now, so you can't really see the full shape of the wig, but it's just it's short and it's flary. It just really made me think of fire. And so I really like it for that. This is from Arda Wigs, which is where I also got the wig, the brown wig that's actually up on the stream, or was a second ago.
That color on you.
Thank you. It's not that. It's definitely darker than my natural color, but not way off. So, anyway, I would recommend them for wigs. That's ARDA wigs. They're not crazy expensive and they're pretty decent quality. And they've got so many different kinds and different colors. There's crazy colors like this, and then there's also more natural looking ones, or even kind of more anime style ones.
I've got a wig too.
Yeah, that's where it started. Is that from Arda Wigs, Erika?
No, it's just I happen to have my wig next to me. I got it from Amazon.
Nice.
I dig it.
What else? Oh, I'm wearing contacts with this cosplay as well. I'll get like real awkwardly close up to the camera here.
Do it. This whole thing is supposed to be kind of awkward.
So you can see my red and yellow eyes. Oh, hi, Boomer. Boomer wants to say hello to the stream. And I got these contacts from Uniqueso. I think that's how you say it. And they kind of like the wigs. They have a bajillion different kinds of contacts. They have different colors and different, even like, I don't know if patterns is the right word, but like you could see mine were like half red, half yellow, kind of swirly like that. So they've got a bunch of different ones. They are also pretty reasonably priced, but you do have to kind of think ahead because they ship from overseas. So you need to plan ahead.
Yes.
Oh yes, sorry, Dreaded Fox. Boomer is my dog. I would give you a pet tax, but she is a large girl and I cannot lift her up. She is 60 pounds, so
Aww.
I think I would worry about knocking my mic and like everything on my desk over if I lift her up. But she's right here. You might see her tail wagging around, or
Aww.
her little snoot.
And I'm already seeing Em get some pretty intense colors. What's your thought process here?
Okay. So first off, I always prime my skin, and it takes a second to dry,
That's my
but
girl.
I like to start with a hydrating primer because I get really dry facial skin.
You're making me so happy.
Okay, so Erika and I used to work together,
Yeah.
and our desks were literally touching.
Yeah.
And I was like, I never wash my face. And she like slow turned to
out.
stare at me in horror. And she's like, excuse me? I'm like, I don't know. I just put them in the shower, wash my face, and that's it. And like, it became a huge conversation with everybody in our department. And then like 2 days later, she brought in a whole load of like supplies and was like, you're gonna try all this. This is an oil, and this is this, and this is a real thing to wash your face. And I was like, okay, apparently this is important. So
look how
I
beautiful your
started
skin
learning about
is.
makeup. I know, it's a little better now. And so now I do stuff. It's so I use this because it's really hard to get makeup to stay on smoothly, in my opinion, without. So big recommend on a primer. I don't really have a preference. I just grabbed this one because it was the Ulta brand and it was like $7.
I get that.
I let Boomer come up and say hello in case you guys missed it.
Aw.
And then,
I'm
very
just gonna
important if
look
you're
at
gonna do
the
your
stream.
eyes, you need to do an eyeshadow primer separate from like a face primer, or else you I have like very creased eyes, and you will get like terrible blotchiness.
Yep.
Otherwise. Okay. So that's where we're starting. And then you said I was starting to throw color on.
Yes.
So I'll say one of my 3 big rules for myself when I create a character design is boldness. People are going to be tabbing through streams like really quickly, right? And so I wanted to have something about the visual aspect of our stream that would make people stop and be like, what's happening here? So I try to have at least one color element that just grabs people's attention.
That is
This
very
time
smart.
I decided to go with red.
I like that. All right, Matt.
Awesome.
I gotta say, like, just right off the bat, Matt is very talented with eyeliner. Very
Thank you.
talented.
I
Oh my gosh.
Like extremely so.
I have poked myself in the eyes many times. That's the price. It's the price of doing business.
It's very true. So tell us a little bit about this.
Well, I mean, right now I'm learning. I just put it in the chat. Like, I didn't know about the whole primer thing, so I'm as much of a beginner as anyone else. So
We can toss you some good recommendations.
yeah, I would
Oh, yeah.
appreciate that. I kind of looked online for like the easiest stuff, and like one of the quick shortcuts, and y'all tell me if this is a bad choice or not, but instead of like foundation and all that, I went with a BB cream that also has like some sunscreen element stuff,
Yeah.
which
Oh, I'm so proud.
yeah, it's been nice, but it's simple. It's like right now all I have in front of me is the BB cream, the eyeliner, and palette and a brush.
What palette are you using?
What was that?
What palette are you using?
Oh, I have one specifically that's like gray and black. It's not 50, but it's 9 shades of gray. So this is what I rock.
Down version. I'm here
Yes,
for
exactly. It's like the PG version of that whole franchise.
It's the Yas Daddy of gray.
Yes.
You said it was a mature stream, so.
It is. Go nuts.
That's fair.
I make daddy jokes all the time, especially on other streams. Real quick, ROU redeemed character fact, and I'm gonna throw that at Tori. Tell us a character fact about your character.
Noise.
Character fact.
Yes.
Character fact. Shembra. This is maybe slightly hella depressing, but I think Shembra has never had someone that she actually considers a friend. Like she's never really had that kind of. She has had like friends before. She was quite popular. She's very social, and she's like she has a really easy time like talking to people, especially people of her sort of socioeconomic status, we'll say.
Yeah.
But she's had a lot of like shallow relationships in her life, so not very many real live vulnerable friendships.
I want to give
How's
her
that?
a hug.
Well, we're working on it. That's what candle. That's
true.
her
Yeah.
art in Candle Geeks. We're
I'm a
getting
bit
there.
behind. I'm so sorry.
Slowly and steadily.
Oh no, it's okay. We haven't gotten to full friendship yet with her, but we are working on it.
I love that. I'm gonna kind of tie it back to something that Em said earlier about boldness. That is extremely important, especially when you're doing live streams. Like, you can barely see like just my normal, natural, just chill blush and stuff, but you can tell already with my eyebrows, I already put on even more than I normally would because it's translating on camera. Everything is very, very subtle. So you gotta go extra with it so it translates.
To add on to that, I have found that doing like little tiny details don't show up. So don't waste your time.
Don't waste your time. You
Don't
know
waste
what?
your time.
I think I might change my mind because my eyebrows are inspiring me, and same with my beard cosplay that keeps coming up. I think I'm going to change my mind. I think I'm going to do that instead.
Cool. I like it.
It was funny because when I first posted that photo, one of my friends messaged me and was like, "You've seen The Boys, right?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah." And they're like, "You look like Anthony Starr. You look like Homelander." And I was like,
Hey.
I like that, but I'm scared. And when I went downstairs to see my husband after I got it all put on, he was like, I don't like it. It made me laugh so hard because it looked really good. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of go for the male features, which is all about going really sharp with your details. And then Dreaded Fox is my sister, so I like to throw that out there every once in a while. And she says, question, do you find it easier to base a character off of a look/name, or is it the other way around? So I'll leave that up to anybody.
Can I
Take
start?
it. Go.
Okay. Dreaded Fox. Such a good question. I think it's a mix. So this is gonna be the base, right? I'm gonna have like a lot of red on my face, but then I'm going to tie this look into different types of characters, different classes. So today I'll show you guys like a druid class, a barbarian class, and then like a warlock class with this base thing. So I think that I definitely changed my look to match a character because it will determine what sort of props I add to bring flavor to the look. Did that answer your question?
To me, that answered it. I actually go off of name first. and then I go with whatever, like literally right before a stream, I'm like, sit down like in front of my mirror and I'm like, this name, okay. I like this. And I kind of just create it on the spot.
Sweet.
How about you two?
Both. So there are definitely times where I've been like, I want to play this kind of character, and then like definitely formulate like the play experience I want to have, and then kind of build the look off of that. And then I've also kind of done the other way. I think maybe most common though is I think most typically I stumble upon a name that kind of just like sticks with me, that I'm like, ooh, that'd be a cool character name. Like, who would that person be? You know, why do I like that name so much? And I'll kind of start running with a name. Although it is kind of weird because Shembra came together as a character, and I had such a hard time figuring out a name for her. Like I was like, you know, thinking about a bunch of different ones, and Shembra is what stuck. But yeah, she came together definitely as a character concept before the name.
That's a great name.
What about you, Matt?
Okay, so usually names are very hard for me. Those usually come last. I mean, in improv, I'm used to other people giving me my name. So then it's like, that's been like the last thing on my list. But as far as like cosplay and characters go, usually I will start with the character creation, just because it's like, all right, well, what do I think will be fun to play? But after that, I start thinking about, when I think about the cosplay, I just go into my closet and I'm like, all right, what can I wear that would fit this character concept? Because, I mean, like getting too many pieces is very expensive. So
there's a reason why I have.
That's why it's like, I just think
basics.
about like, I have these jackets, I have these coats, I have these shirts. What would be a fun combination that I might not wear normally? And then I go with that. That's actually one of the reasons why I started doing makeup stuff, is that it's like, sure, when you first buy makeup, it can seem very expensive, but it's like if you're doing a lot of one-shots that have like the same types of things, like as far as like my BB cream stuff and the eyeliner, I can do that for almost all my one-shots. And then it just be down to like the little things, like a palette, and then it's like figuring out what you can do with it. But I feel like instead of buying, like, because there are certain pieces where it's like, when I first started, I bought one thing and I was like, oh, sick, this is a $30 thing, and it's like, I have it for, if it's a campaign, great. But if you buy a $30 thing for a one shot that's very specific, it's hard to justify that. But
That's
having
true.
the makeup that you can use for a bunch of different streams, even as different characters, I think it works out pretty decently.
That's a good point, because this is what I use for face paint that Emily showed me, because it was one of the first things she had, and I was like, that is brilliant. And that's what I have because of her.
Awesome.
It's actually
Speaking of face paint, I saw that there was submitted questions about the full face paint,
Yes.
which is something I do every week. We have a show, obviously tonight, and I just want to throw out that you should absolutely get water-based face paint if you're gonna do full face.
yeah.
It is so easy to clean off, and isn't like, I don't know about you guys, but when I was a kid and did like Halloween costumes with face paint and stuff, they have that like gnarly, super like oily, chunky stuff that is like
Yes!
globby and sticky and gross. This goes on, this is Mehron, Mehron makeup, and they have a bunch of different colors that are water-based, like face paints like this. And I'd get a sponge, like a beauty sponge, wet, damp, and then you just dab it into the makeup itself. You get it a little bit wet, and then you just start boop, 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 dabbing away. You can do it with a brush too if you prefer makeup brushes. I like a sponge because I feel like it goes on a little more blended, less streaky.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah. If I were doing this in person and not like for a stream, because like Em said, you can get away with sort of the little details like not being perfect. If I were gonna go out like to a con or something and really like want to do a very, you know, high quality cosplay, I would probably put multiple coats like of this. I'd probably go over once, let it dry completely, and then do it again. I usually only do one for the streams because if different patches are like a little bit lighter, it doesn't really show. So that would be my recommendation if you want to do a character with like any kind of oddly colored skin, you know, or if you want to like completely change your skin tone to be something weird, then go water-based, because it does not take 2 hours afterward to clean it all off.
I'm curious.
Which is really nice for something that I do frequently.
So I'm curious about that. When you take it off, do you use, do you like double cleanse to get it off? Or do you just...
So since it's water-based, a lot of it comes off with just water. So usually my cleanup routine is, once I obviously get the contacts out and the wig off and everything, I will just like, I'll just rinse my face honestly first, and then I'll take a rag that I don't care about and just like get that wet and just kind of wipe off the rest of the makeup. And then I will like just like normally wash my face like I would normally do. And it all in all, it takes maybe like 10 minutes max to get everything off.
That's not long at all.
That's including like all of my contacts and like all of my makeup and everything. So yes, go water-based if you're gonna do, you know, a big heavy duty face paint like this.
Yeah, sweet. And Em,
That's my first look.
looks like it's ready.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh.
This is like my little druid look. I was like, I'm gonna do little flowers, and I got a little thing here. So if I was a druid, I would need something to hold back my hair, and I would do it like, my hair is really dark and it just fades into the background, but I did have like this like big fluffy braid that like ran down here, and that was like my pretty little druid face. I went with a pale, kind of glimmery lip gloss to kind of soften the look, because the red can look really harsh. So with the nature aspects and the glitter aspects, I think it tones it down to be like, I'm a pretty little druid.
I'm a pretty flower.
And that's my first look.
Yeah.
That
Now I'm
looks
gonna transition to the-
fantastic.
I took a picture. I'm gonna try and
I
get
was
a
gonna
picture
say,
for each
saw,
look.
I saw you
I'll
taking a photo. I saw you taking a selfie. My favorite part about doing so when doing a beard, I go in with kind of like a base of oh crap, what's it called? Whatever it is. The contour. That thing. I use a contour stick as kind of the base to make like my face darker. And then for like, I haven't finished with the beard texture yet, but that's when either why are words so bad right now? Mascara, or sometimes I'll even use like eyebrow tint, and I just kind of go over and almost like paint my face, because it starts giving almost a little bit more of a texture. And for some reason tonight it's gone crazy dark, so I'm just gonna go in and just kind of tap it out so it blends a little bit better, so it's not as like streaky and crazy. That's kind of how you do a beard. All right. Anybody have any other questions? I can move on to some of the ones that we have.
I think RLU. Oh, go ahead.
Did RLU have something?
RLU redeemed a second character fact a while back.
Well, who are you asking it to?
Yeah, RLU, we need clarification. Or you could kick it to somebody else because you just kicked it to me the
That's
first time,
true.
Erica. So
That is true. Actually, since Matt is basing off of a character, I guess we all kind of are. Tell us one about yours, like, and a little bit about what inspired the look.
Oh, well, this character, it was for a necrobiotic game, and there is a class where you're technologically augmented, so for short periods of time you can go faster, you can jump higher. But I had art done where it's like you could see him and you could see like part of his face is like missing, kind of, I'm thinking like Terminator style. And that's kind of like what inspired the whole thing, is like, oh, it'd be sick to be able to show off both the technology element as well as the human side. But as far as a character fact is concerned, it's like this has been one of my favorite characters, in that he's very naive to many things in the world, and so he had the chance to create quite a bit of comedy in not understanding a lot of things that people normally would if they lived a different life. Like for him, it was just a matter of living in a realm of danger where he would have to protect his brother, and that preventing him from being able to form other relationships, specifically romantic ones.
Yeah.
And so the episode where people were talking about a first kiss, he was a little out of his element, and it was really fun to play up that element.
I like that. That's great. Looks like there's some stuff going on in the chat.
Sloan would like some eyeshadow tips. M. I mean, I threw M out as a, since you do so much with that.
Great.
Something quick to darken the eyes for a mask. Clone is asking about.
Okay. I'm actually about to put on a mask.
Oh,
Perfect timing.
So
Nice.
specifically, are you wanting something that goes underneath of a mask, or do you want something that makes a mask out of makeup? Because those are going to be two different answers.
That's smart. I'm pretty much done with mine. Mine is actually kind of easy. Just paint some beard on. But yeah, it's beards are good because Halloween is coming up, so there's a lot of people wanting to do some stuff. I loved like gender bend stuff as some of the most clever things. But one of the key things too, while we're kind of waiting for some other, there we go, is the eyes. For kind of more of a male figure, you want a little bit more of sunken eye look. And that's kind of where that contour stick comes in all the time. I use it to deepen the lines in my forehead, which I hate, but you know, that's what I use because you can see them a lot more vibrant now, so it kind of gives an older gentleman look, and the kind of sunken eyes gives a little bit more of a mask vibe, as well as an under eye eyeliner to look a little bit less feminine and change your eye shape a little bit. So M, Clone says something that goes under a mask around the eyes, so kind of like a Batman look, I guess.
So you can do, there's two things you can do. You can just take a thing of black eyeshadow and just kind of go crazy, because then you can like smudge it out, right? You do like, you don't have to worry about hitting that perfect smoky eye look. You just smudge it with a dark eyeshadow. Or you can get like a grease paint I forgot that I opened my face paints and I just grabbed it with my bare hand.
Oh no!
I have a black in my face paints, and I've used that around my eyes as well.
I love that the black is the biggest.
The black and the white are the big one, that way you can mix
That's
your own
fantastic.
colors. I don't know what to do with my hand now. All right, let's figure this out.
Fix stream elements here. It's giving out the wrong.
While you are wiping the makeup off your fingers, I don't know where else I would work this in, but something else I forgot to mention. If you are gonna do a full face like this and just go full skin tone change, then contouring is really, really important because it will painting my whole face gray like this will just make it look super flat. And so you need to bring that like depth and the curves and shape of your face back out. So instead of looking like someone who's painted their face gray, you look like hopefully a character who has gray skin or, you know, whatever color you're using. Going back to like really making it bold, this contouring does not look good up close, but I literally take black and gray eyeshadow and some contouring brushes and just like go right at the lines of my cheeks down to like really make this part darker. Yeah, exactly. I line up I do the fish face in the mirror and then whoop and brush it down. And then I do that on the sides of my nose too, which like I said is not something, you know, up close this doesn't look beautiful, but what it does is create shadows. Yeah, exactly. Thing. It makes shadows on my face where there wouldn't otherwise, where it would just be gray blob. So just another tip that I learned watching someone else's video about, you know, how to do all of this stuff.
Yeah.
But you had a really cool mask, and I'm so excited for you.
I do have a kind of cool mask. I'll get it in a second. I changed up the lengths of the straps right before the stream, hoping that it would fit better, and it fits worse.
No!
Oh no!
So I have to figure it out. But when I go for a barbarian look, I'll generally try and get like kind of a poofy top. I don't do braids because they don't stay. So they don't show up on the stream because my hair is so dark. But I'll do poofy top and I'll just pin it up. And then I'll try and get my mask to fit here.
That reminded me to do my hair. So Matt, I have a question for you. So
yeah,
how are your paints when it comes to layering? I have the hardest time with that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So like you're putting some colors like really close to others and on top, and they're like staying pretty vibrant.
Oh, thank you.
So it looks really good.
I appreciate that. I mean, as far as like because of the shades, at the very least, that makes it a little bit easier. It's like I start with a much lighter one for where I want it to be a little shinier. And then I've got like the kind of darker area where it's like I want that to be like where the cheek would be sunken in a bit from the metal and the little bit missing. I don't want to go too graphic. I don't want to get too gross, but as far as like making sure everything else stays defined, this was like right now what I'm doing with this white is that I actually got this tip. I forgot their name, but I got this tip on a stream where I was like, I wanted to make the metal feel more distinct from my skin.
Yeah.
And they said if you outlined it with white, then you would end up making the metal part pop a little bit more. And I was like, okay, I'm on board. As far as the layering goes, like I think it's just that for me, it's just experience on this one. I feel like if I tried something new all of a sudden that I hadn't been doing forever, it would look terrible. but it does help that I have quite a few shades that are similar enough that it's like if I want to darken, I can add a little bit more of a slightly darker one without going like from base gray to black.
I like that. That's really good. Kind of way to make it pop. Em, you look fantastic.
Thank you. So this is the look I put together to stress the importance of props. Because mask, and then this, and then a little bit of paint, and it's still from the same concept of having a bold, bright color red on top.
Yeah.
And then I also have like these wrist braces I can just slide on, and you have a barbarian look so quickly.
Nice.
Exactly.
And I think it looks pretty distinct from the flower child druid girl.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Also, Erika, you're hot.
Thanks, babe. And I'm using my husband's shirt.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And it's really weird because men's buttons go the opposite direction. The layers are weird.
Whoa.
So I'm trying to decide if I look more like Troy Baker or Anthony Starr.
I think with your hair, you also sort of have a Malfoy thing going.
Am I satisfying anybody's Malfoy kinks?
Except Malfoy would this is like unhinged Malfoy,
Yes.
like because he's starting to grow, you know, a
He's
beard.
becoming
Like
an adult.
yes, well that, and he's like obviously, you know, stressed out and like really losing it because he isn't shaving anymore. That's how you can tell, you know.
It's a good point. But yeah, Em's right. It's all about the props. Because not only do you have to have your face look the part, the rest of you has to match. And if you're wanting to cosplay a hot guy, roll up the sleeves. Turn that down now. Let's see here.
What's next, Em?
Next
Yes.
is like a creepy warlock person,
Creepy warlock. I like
a
that.
witch.
Not a witch, I'm your wife.
Literally, I am getting a Princess Bride tattoo.
Did you
and
decide which one you're gonna get?
I haven't.
No.
It's been years in the making, and the only one my family will suggest to me is "I'm not a witch, I'm your wife," and I'm like, is that really what I?
Is that
have
really what
to
I
be
want on
known
my
And then
body?
is Chase gonna get? Is Chase gonna get back, witch, and then you guys will match.
We can layer our arms
Yeah.
over each other. Get back, witch! I'm not a witch, I'm your wife. That's actually hilarious.
And then your other arm says, "But after what you just said, I'm not even sure I want to be that anymore." And then it'll just keep going, and soon you guys will have the entire film, that entire scene tattooed.
Oh, like just
My
on your
mom's
back,
favorite
the whole
movie.
script. It's my grandpa's favorite movie. It was great. All right. How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling?
Good. How are you?
I feel handsome.
Ooh, I have a little tip
Do
since
it.
I'm not doing anything except watching you guys do really cool stuff. A small but very powerful thing, potentially powerful thing, is your lipstick. What you put on your mouth can really like make a dramatic difference,
It's so true.
especially on stream, because it's like, so, you know, it's very much focused around your face and everything, but like putting a bold color or just really any kind of color can drastically change the like mood of your look.
That is
And
what I forgot
the lip
to
is
do.
the last thing I do for Shembra, because I'm like painting all over my face and don't want to, you know, mess that up. But the bright red, like really I should have come to the stream without the lipstick on and then put it on and then shown you what a difference it makes. But Em is being my object lesson right now. Thank you so much, Em.
Mm-hmm.
And how much of a difference it makes to just have some color on your lips.
I used a different lipstick color for every single one of these looks, specifically for what you said, Tori. Okay, can I just show you guys for 1 second?
Yes.
Look how many fingernail divots there are from me grabbing this. I've done it
no.
4 times throughout this. Ridiculous. Okay. Lips. We gotta finish the face. This one I hope will go on quickly. I want to be the last person doing makeup here. Got too cocky to do so
Distract
many
you.
looks.
But have you experimented much with lip color?
Me?
Matt, sorry. I I'm realizing Matt's very focused right now, so I also
the look of
this is-
concentration in his face.
I usually get to do this where I'm like right up against the mirror, so this is one of the harder parts, but I haven't. I've only done it once when I was Daphne in the Scooby-Doo one shot.
Oh,
but
that was great.
they get well, aside from that, I think I did one other time as Kjolb when I was doing like the half and half, but I haven't. Like, I want to, but I always forget about it.
A fun, easy way to change your look if you are wanting some subtle shifts.
Let's see. I think we've pretty much covered. Oh, somebody did ask, which character have you always wanted to cosplay? So I guess that kind of fits in line with almost like Halloween. Is there a character that you've always wanted to, like, be or try?
Always, but I'll tell you what I'm going to attempt this Halloween. I need to actually check on where my order is and when it's supposed to come, but I ordered. First of all, with cosplay, I am way too lazy and unskilled to like make any kind of clothing for myself. So that is not a part of cosplay that I am good at. But there are plenty of people who make awesome, really, really awesome things. But I ordered a Joy dress, Joy from Inside Out.
Oh my gosh.
My hair color is blue right now. I mean, well, not right now. I've got a red wig
underneath.
on, but underneath my hair is blue, and it's a very bright kind of teal color, and I am excited to try dressing up as Joy because she has that bright blue hair too. So I won't theoretically have to do much to my hair, but I will be experimenting with like probably some yellowish face paint because she has that sort of yellowy, glistening, glittery skin. So
yeah,
when I attempt it, I'll let you guys know and share a photo or something.
I love that. So one that I was actually have been told recently was that I should be Vi or Violet from League of Legends.
You could totally pull that off.
Yeah, that's what people have been telling me that I should do from the series. And all I have to do is get a wig because I don't think my hair could do that kind of volume, but I could do the bone structure of it. But I've been told that I should absolutely do that, and so that's on my list of things to do.
I should have taken off
the headphones.
Yeah. To do this.
I was thinking about doing it for FanX, but I realized it's a little too expensive for being barely 2 weeks away. Oh, my sister's freaking out now. Aww.
Hey, I could do Erika. I could do a powder cosplay. We could do it together.
Oh my gosh! Let's plan this for next FanX. You come out here, or I'll go out there for San Diego Comic-Con. I don't care, and we'll do this because that's incredible. That's a great idea.
And if you start working out now, then
I'm working on
maybe you can be as like
jacked,
like half as strong as Vi is in reality because she is like unattainable life goals. Let's be honest, but she's so cool.
So true. Oh my gosh.
Oh, your actual sister wants to be Jinx. Yeah, that's got priority for sure.
Oh my gosh.
But Cupcake. That would be
Em, you look like you're about to murder someone.
Yes, please tell
That's
us.
what I was going for. So I wanted to go from like cover the range of emotions from like sweet happy druid girl to like I'm a strong barbarian and then evil bitch.
Yeah.
My favorite is the like almost
bitch.
dripping. That is
Yes.
just chef's kiss. That looks amazing.
So dope. Goodness.
Doing my model face.
Blue steel it up.
It's true. So everybody's pretty much completed their cosplays, and this is awesome. Does anybody else have any questions? Continuing in the chat, because I just really like these people.
Tip, in case you are not a contact wearer, like I was not, it is give yourself plenty of time to practice. Because it is quite tricky to get contacts in the first time, like if you've never done it before. Literally, it took me, I honestly think it took me the better part of like 45 minutes of just like trying to get the contacts into my eyes. And not because I was like scared of touching my eyeballs or like anything like that. It's just honestly tricky to get it to stick to your eye, not your finger, to stay on your finger, to be, you know, moist enough to go in your eye, and it's a whole ordeal. So just like look up a YouTube video to walk through the process. It's not complicated, but it just takes practice to get the actual, you know, to learn how your eyes will work with contacts.
That's really smart. Because I've learned my eyes hate contacts. You guys are very blurry to me right now. That's why my eyes look a little
And you did
strange.
an amazing job on your makak, even with
That's because I had my friend over here, the mirror.
Next level.
So Aku, I don't actually know how to say her whole name, asked Akko, who our childhood heroes are. And I love that question. Mine is Captain America, specifically Steve Rogers. I grew up on his comic books, and I like modeled myself after him because I'm really tall. I'm like 5'10", and I got bullied a lot growing up because of my height, and I was a nerd. And so I kind of modeled myself after him and like the kindness he would show to even the people who would beat the shit out of him, and tried to be that friend to other people that I never had. And so I was really lucky. Dreaded Fox actually got me a discounted ticket to go and meet Chris Evans at FanX a couple of years ago.
Oh my gosh.
And I got to meet him. That's a huge story. But he was one of the nicest people I've ever met, and like he was perfect to represent my childhood hero. So that's who it is.
Wonderful.
Hi, Hexter.
That is great.
Oh, Hexeter, hello.
Hi, Hexter.
Exeter.
I do love Captain America too, Erika. You know this.
Yes.
I can go next if
Go.
Em and
Go
Matt
ahead.
need more time.
Do it.
I really loved the X-Men growing up. And specifically my favorite X-Man still is Nightcrawler, which is kind of a weird character to have as like this young girl like really loving. And because if you guys don't know Nightcrawler, he is like a blue devil looking character. He's got like red eyes and a barbed tail and everything. But one, he's got the coolest power. He can teleport, which I still think to this day would be my top pick for a superpower, because that would make everything way more convenient. But also, I always admired how like he first of all, his faith was very important to him, which I always thought was like a really cool thing about his character, because he does look like a demon,
super devoted Catholic.
He's like a super devoted Catholic. And it's really interesting in the world of X-Men, where there's all these like superpowers and everything, that like he feels like super close to this faith still, and like he really believed in like his faith was something that really drove him. And I just like really thought that was cool for like a weird like superhero character. That's not something you see very often, and I'm not personally Catholic or anything, but I just like really loved seeing like a very kind of like normal human thing in such a fantastical character. And also for him to have such a difficult life, he was like obviously very much cast out because of how he looks, but to still like stay so close to something that was important to him. Anyway, I could go on and on. That's just like why I always have loved Nightcrawler. He's like such a cool person. under all of his like monstrous looking, you know,
Exterior.
shell. Yeah.
I love Nightcrawler.
Anyway,
The movies
that's
were
my
great.
childhood hero.
It's true. All right, who's next?
I can't think of anybody. So
Well, then you'll go last.
Okay.
You know, heroes. M grew up a hopeless child, directionless.
A little bit.
All right,
Okay.
Matt.
So mine, and I didn't even know his name back then growing up. I only knew his character's name, but it was Rowan Atkinson. Because when I was a small child, I didn't know English when I moved to America, and so I mean there were a lot of situations where it was like I didn't know how to function. Like I would be in preschool, and I remember showing up and not knowing how to communicate with anyone. And the principal there, like, I called my dad in the first day, and was like, "Hey, we've got a problem. He doesn't know any English." I think I remember one time where I was like, I wanted to play with jungle cats with this other kid. Like there was a panther, there was a tiger, there was a leopard, just these little toys. But it was like I said it in Chinese, and they said something back that I don't know what they said. And I just remember not knowing and just crying, just standing there crying. But in spite of all that, in spite of not understanding anything, there was one show where regardless of language, I could always understand, at least I always thought it was funny. It was Mr. Bean. Because he barely talks, he barely says anything. You get all of the humor and all the funny from just his facial expressions, the predicaments he finds himself in, the sound effects. Everything was so universal that even as a small child, I was able to laugh and enjoy myself before I understood what everyone else around me was saying.
Oh,
It's so fucking tender.
that is so amazing. Oh, that's so sweet.
My heart.
And if you
Said
don't
it all
have
in chat,
anybody,
Matt,
it's
but-
okay.
This is my favorite. This is my favorite thing that I know about you now.
Right? I love learning more about Matt. It's like one of my favorite pastimes.
Y'all are too kind, goodness.
Okay, I thought of somebody. It's not a good story.
Oh.
But it's just not an interesting story. I grew up in super sheltered, right? Like, we didn't have a television. I think the first movie I saw was Fellowship of the Ring. Like the first movie I saw in theaters. So I didn't have a lot of like mainstream media to pull from, but I read a ton of books. And one of my favorite books was The Five Little Peppers and How They Grew. And it was like about this story about this single mom who had like 5 kids, right? And the oldest child was a girl, like myself, and she would help her mom take care of all the kids and like bring in extra money and stuff. And that was like my ideal, because like my dad wasn't around from the time that I was 12 years old and up. And so that was, and I have 6, there's 6 of us kids. So I pulled a lot of like parallels from that. And my mom was like, she didn't have a high school diploma. She like got married when she was 17 years old, and she didn't know how to take on all these responsibilities.
Yeah.
So me and my younger brother, we took on a lot of the kid responsibilities, and that book kind of like inspired me that one day it'll all be great. And yeah.
And look where you are now.
What are you talking about? Not a good story. That's an amazing
That's
story.
amazing.
Yeah.
That is wonderful, because it's how you grew into who you are. It's these
It's
characters.
the pepper. You were a pepper.
I was a pepper.
And you grew.
I grew. Yeah. 5 little peppers and how they grew. Yeah. It's just, yeah, it's whatever.
I love it. And Hexter, just because you have a furry face doesn't mean you can't wear makeup. You can put stuff in your beard too, almost like you could put like ornaments and
you
some
can
other
gray
things.
it.
Like
You can gray it up or
gray it
darken
up,
it or whatever.
put some like sparkles of color into it, but as well as like the skin above and everywhere else, you can use that as well. And when you wash your face, so a little bit of background, I love how I've talked about a little bit earlier. I'm skincare obsessed. I had horrific acne for a very long time, and about 4 years ago I finished Accutane. Became obsessed with skincare and taking care of my skin. I was really nervous to do any sort of makeup on my skin because I had some PTSD of like, if I wear makeup, I'll probably break out. And it was really bad, but I learned primers, as Tori mentioned earlier, are extremely important for preparing your skin to have something foreign on it. There it is. There's the primer, of which
Hydrating,
please. And especially the care after is one of the most important, because your skin is getting irritated by having something foreign on it. So when you wash your face, there's a great step called double cleansing, which I only use if I'm using a lot of makeup, and it's the first step to get all of the makeup initially off, and then you actually wash your skin. Because if you just go straight in and just start scrubbing your face, you get the makeup off, but you don't get enough of it that's been like patted deep into your pores. So you have to be really careful to treat it properly and put extra like moisturizer and maybe a little bit of like a rosehip oil, something to like calm your skin as well as hydrate it and kind of treat it as self-care. It's like, you're okay, you went through something a little bit stressful, it's okay, you're gonna feel all right. And if you break out, it's okay. There are ways to help with that as well. Let's see, how long does it take to achieve that skin color look? I remember as a kid trying Halloween face paint.
I can go through this again real quick, Hexter, because we chatted about it earlier, but I'll give you the Spark Notes version. It doesn't take that long. I use water-based face paint, which is way easier and comes off way easier too. It's called Mehron, which is MEHRON. And I just get a sponge, like a beauty sponge, damp, dab it in the makeup, and then boop, 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 boop. I would say overall, just the like face paint part takes me maybe like 5 to 7 minutes.
Wow.
And that's just like, that's counting like drying time. It's pretty quick. And that's if I just want to do one coat. You can make it like thicker and like more full coverage, less spotty if you wait for it to dry and then you go again. But yeah, that's, I don't know. I'm really bad at time estimates too. I have no concept of time.
You're also ADHD.
Yeah, so I think it's maybe like 5 minutes, but I think my record time, and Matt, maybe you guys will remember. I think the fastest I ever put this look together was like, I think it was under 15 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was. I was gonna say it was about 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was like 10 minutes. It was not my best like go at this, but like I just had all the basics on. I had my contacts, my face, and my wig, and the lips. Like, so
That's
I think
incredible.
I did the record time. I think was about 10 minutes.
That is awesome. Oh my gosh.
Can I?
Oh yes, please.
Can I share one thing?
Absolutely.
So I was trying to think if I had 3 tips to give people, what would they be? And I've already kind of touched on 2 of them,
great.
so I want to do the third.
Yeah.
The third one is be reasonable. Life is gonna happen. You're gonna be rushing to your stream one day. So make a look that you can throw together without stressing yourself to death. So just pick something, use your props to make it easier for you, whether that be a wig or a hood, and just make it so that you can do it in a set small amount of time, even if it's like while you're framing and throwing it on. Because then you'll save yourself a lot of stress and not feel like, I can't be in character today because my entire face is in blue, which was me once or twice.
That might be one of the photos I have up, is one of your blue, because I thought that was gorgeous. I like that.
Thanks.
The 3 tips. Does anybody else have any like real quick tips? Even if you've said them before, there's
I have a
some new
tip.
faces.
For I'll just say, this is maybe obvious, but like start small. Sorry, I muted myself
like,
mid
"Oh."
sentence. But this was not my first look that I've ever done. I started on another campaign, and literally all it was a wig and like a costume. Like I was playing a fighter, and so I got some like just a Halloween store knight armor, and she had like a scarf. That was a teal color. Her name was Teal. That's all it was. It was a wig, my armor, and my scarf. And I just bought those things, so it took no makeup. Like I did nothing to my face. I just whoop and put it all on, and that was my cosplay. And that was like a good little half step into this world and just kind of see like, do I even like this? Does it help me get into character? You know, is this something I enjoy? And then for the next campaign, which was this, is when I was talking to Em, I was like, I think I'm really gonna like, you know, try to do something cool here. So that would be my tip, is just like start with something like very manageable and very, very easy. You know, you don't have to come out looking like, I don't even know, what's like a crazy character to cosplay? Don't have to come out looking like an alien from a different universe, you know, on day one.
Yeah.
You can just like put on a prop, like Em said.
That's
that counts.
great.
It does count. It absolutely counts.
Yep. Matt, how about you?
I think one would be since I started doing makeup, I think it was December when I bought my first thing.
Aww.
But I would say that like when you're doing it, usually doing it in the bathroom mirror, when you finish initially whatever your first rough draft is, don't be too hard on yourself, and make sure to look at yourself in your stream's setup, because sometimes I'll do this and think, this is crazy, this is too much in my mirror, because I'm looking at it, I'm being super critical. But when you're under your lights, when you're on the camera, you look different than when you're, you know, super self-critical in front of the mirror. So make sure to look at yourself in the way that you would be presenting yourself on the stream, and then make your adjustments before being like back to the drawing board, because you might have landed on a great look for the camera that might not have worked in the mirror.
Yeah.
That is such a good point. Just yesterday, I was testing out a zombie look, and I kept hopping into Discord, into a chat, just to pull up my camera and be like, how is this translating to your webcam?
Yes.
Because your webcam is not as high res as real life.
And sometimes it has a blur filter on it. It's where it, like it smooths
Like in
your
Zoom?
skin already, and I'm just kind of like, I had really dark circles under my eyes. This is not real. But also thanks.
And it also helps to know if you need to go bolder or something. If you're like, oh man, this color's crazy, or like, whoa, this lip color is too much. You know, I would never wear this outside. Well, I would never wear this outside anyway. But like, if you're feeling like this looks weird, then sometimes you might get on camera and see like, oh, it's literally not even showing up.
It's barely,
like,
exactly.
People don't even see what I've done on my face here, so I need to go more.
I'm noticing how funny it is that when you put something really dark around your mouth, your teeth get really white.
Super white.
Super white. So funny story that some of you may already know. Tori and Emily were one of the very first people I've ever played D&D with, a TTRPG with. And they have influenced the majority of who I am, especially as a player. And there's one thing that Em did, because I was having a really hard time getting into character. Like, doing that I thought was like the hardest thing on the planet. And she mentioned, listen to music, something that your character would listen to kind of give the vibe of your character. So I started doing that, and it worked really well. And then I noticed Em and Tori like started to like dress up a little bit more, and I was like, okay. So I listened to that said song or playlist as I'm getting ready, because not only is that influencing my brain to be like, oh yeah, this is the vibe of my character, but I'm also looking like how my character feels and how they are. So vibe is very important, because when you're role playing, you want to be able to feel like your character, and being able to see yourself actually as your character and how you feel is extremely important to your role play. So whenever 90% of the time I stream is always in some sort of cosplay, even if it's just a little bit more intense eye makeup, something small really puts me into character. And I am starting my very first, so every single thing I've done D&D related has been recorded and or live streamed for content consumption. I have not done anything that's not. And I'm for the first time getting into a campaign that will not be streamed for the first time. And I'm like, how on earth am I supposed to get into character if it's not something for me to see and others to see? And I realized I can do whatever I want. If nobody else is dressing up as their character, do whatever you want. It can be as simple as, I have, like, this is my wardrobe for all of my cosplay stuff. Even if it's as simple as putting on this little vest and wearing that for every single thing, something simple works because it gets yourself into the right mindset, and you're able to have a lot more fun with it when you can act out how your character looks. I think it's fantastic. So these people have inspired me to do some amazing shit. Anyways, so does anybody have any last minute questions, things they want to pop up? I'll let it go for a couple of seconds. If not, we'll kind of wrap up here and I'll go wash my face after this.
Right.
Because my husband doesn't know what I'm doing. He doesn't know what makeup I have on. So if I go downstairs and he's raiding in Destiny, I'm like, hey babe, what's up? And he's gonna be like, oh, what? That's my
Gonna get too bad again.
Not again. There's a man in my house.
I thought we talked about this, Erika.
Bedroom only. No, I'm just kidding.
Can I add on to what you just said, though?
Please.
Sometimes I don't like doing dressing up when I'm at the table.
Interesting.
But I'll have like a small prop.
Yeah.
Like one of my old characters, she smoked cigarettes, so I had a fake little cigarette that I would use.
Oh.
And so that was like that, or like I had my little druid flowers earlier, which I don't know where it went, but like if it was something to do, I'd like pour a little flower and just be in character. Wow, this flower really doesn't go with this vibe, does it? The vibe check is all wrong.
It's true, it's like,
just gonna toss that.
you tried.
But I'm might get a cat and stroke it.
That does require you to have a cat, but yes.
Okay. I do. I've got two, so it'll be
Yes,
fun.
I just
love your
for the
cats.
chat, I don't know that I would recommend getting a chat just for your stream or just for getting in character, but it can certainly help.
That's much more in the vibe. Much better.
No, swallow it, Em.
No,
Oh,
it's
okay.
fake. If it was a real flower, I might.
Flowers are delicious sometimes.
I also really like voices.
Yeah,
which
we
is
hadn't touched
sort
on
of
that.
The other little piece. You don't have to do a character voice to be in character. Just to be clear, I've played characters with unique voices, and I've played characters that just talk like me. Yeah, I really like kind of thinking of a character's voice, even if it's just something subtle, or like how I'm holding myself as I talk, or maybe I talk a little slower, or I enunciate a little more. You don't have to go for a crazy accent every time, although
Yeah.
it is very fun to go for a crazy accent if that's the vibe of the character as well.
true.
But I literally will. My favorite place to practice is like I will talk to myself in the car all the time.
Yep.
As in my character voice, and I will like read signs as I pass them on the freeway. I'll repeat what I'm hearing on the radio, like just to practice saying things in my character voice.
That's fantastic. I'm gonna name drop here real quick just because I kind of have to give them credit, but I was talking with Nolan North a couple of months ago, and he gave some really good suggestions, because I was like, how do you find the voice for a character, like, because he's voiced so many things. And he said something along the lines of An impersonation of somebody else's character is your character, because you're not going to do it perfectly. There's going to be something about it, a change in pitch, whether it's higher or lower. You gave it to some weird, like, little change to it, becomes your own thing. So to not feel bad about trying to impersonate somebody else, because you can take that and turn it into your own, and that's how you can find a voice. And I always thought that was fantastic. So when I try to do some NPCs or something, I try to think of some of the things that even Matt Mercer has done, or I forgot his name, but he's on Dimension 20. Brennan Lee Mulligan.
Yes.
I want to meet him so bad. And kind of think of some of the things that they've done for their character voices and kind of mimic it, but change it ever so slightly, because then it becomes your thing. Mm-hmm. So it's so fun to see those things. I didn't realize that was Erika for a couple of seconds. That means I did it right. That's probably the best compliment I've ever received. I'm not screenshotting that. Sorry, sorry if everything froze. I had to screenshot that because that was great. That made my night. Yes, love D20. Yeah. They are wonderful. They have a new campaign that came out that I need to watch, and it looks so good. Fantasy High, yeah. Well, so as we wrap up, let's go through everybody. Tell us a little bit about yourself again, where we can find you, and when your next stream is going to be so we can catch you. So we'll start, I'll go last. So on the screen, Tori, how about you?
Yeah, I am Tori. You can find me on Twitter at ToriFika, and you can find me streaming most Monday nights with Level 1 Geek. You can also find Level 1 Geek on Twitter. But yeah, we'll be streaming on Monday, this Labor Day. We will be back with another episode of Candle Geeks, where, spoiler alert, I think that maybe that will also be what Matt and Em say, but because they will also be over there. Yeah. So yes. You'll hear this a couple more times, but that's me.
Drill it into their brains. You guys got to go watch this. They're amazing. Speaking of one of you two, Matt.
Yes, I'm Matt. I'll be playing Xing, the stand-up comic bard, on Monday on Level 1 Geek. So please tune in.
Yes, please. Emily.
Hey,
I forget you prefer to go by Em, and I call you Emily all the time.
That's fine. I just jump and feel like I'm probably in trouble. Yeah. I'm like, what do I do?
Em, I swear it's not you, it's me. Anyways.
I am Em. I'm also known as Em the GM or Anthrama Streams. You can find me on Twitter, where I rarely ever post because I find social media exhausting. But I like catching up with people, so sometimes I'll just like creep on your stuff and like it. I like to stream as much as physically possible, and I have a stream on Monday where I am the DM for Candle Geeks. And then I think on Wednesday, I'm going to be on VCG, where I will be playing Bilbo Baggins. So come watch that.
That's so exciting.
Definitely a voice that I had to make my own because it was no good the first time around. And then on Friday, I will be joining Hungriest Clone, who has been in chat a few times. And I will hopefully be doing some zombie makeup that day. My face is a little angry at me for how many of these facial wipes I've used, so we'll see what happens. But
face.
Yeah, that's where you can find me. I guessed as many places as possible, so hit me up if you need
yes, please.
This face in your game.
You want that face. One of the best role players out there.
You stop it right now.
I like to flatter everybody. As always, I'm Erika Aundawyn. You'll always find me on here. Same with social media, everywhere is under Aundawyn. I am a writer at Couch Soup, where I do a women in gaming series. There's an article about Tori, so you should go and check that out. I'm also a content creator at Deadpan Gaming, where I do a Cozy Gamer Friday, which didn't happen today. It actually happened on Wednesday because I wanted to do this. And I'll also be on that stream with Hungriest Clone. I have yet to do my makeup, but it's going to be a divine, so it's probably going to be something very elegant and gold, probably.
Yes.
That feels like a fun thing that I just came up with just now.
I'm having flashbacks to Defiant.
Yo, dude, that was so much fun. So probably that'll be inspired. So I'm excited to play with Em again. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So let's see. So for this month, we don't have a whole lot going on. We've got a couple of streams that are up scheduled on our Twitter. The last half of the month will not be any streams because majority of us have plans. Some people are getting married, other people are going to FanX, so I hope to see some of you Utah bound people there for some really fun panels, and we will catch you all next time.